Dolby Atmos is changing the way music is heard, blowing away stereo with music that moves, soundscapes that electrify, and artists making music like you've never heard before.
Good afternoon from Singapore. Good morning if you're in India and sending all of these amazing emojis on our YouTube channel. Welcome back to the I'm just watching all these crazy love heart emojis going crazy. Not for me, unfortunately. I don't think. I think they're probably for someone else. But welcome back to Music Masters Academy. We have a treat for you. But going back to the real reason of why we're all here. Apart from the love heart emojis, it's about helping young artists and young musicians and young management and young music people get to the next level. And today we're talking to a number of people about marketing and how to get your name out and how to build a community and how to continue connecting with your fans. So the idea is that you've written a song, you've recorded it, you've created a brilliant video, but how do you get people to watch it and how do you get people to talk to you and stuff? If you don't have a community or a fan base, it is really, really hard. So the fans aren't coming to you. So we're talking about getting noticed. And what a great session we have now with one of India's, South Asia's, one of the world's most successful, wonderful creators, talking about just that, how to build an audience and how to keep them. And hint for everyone out there, it ain't easy. So please listen in, take notes, and everyone in internet land, especially the emojis out there. What a great name for a band. Ask questions. You've got a real opportunity here to ask two extremely wonderful people questions on how they have got to where they are today and where they're heading. So please give a huge internet welcome to the Music Masters Academy, Rohit, Raj, and none other than BB Vines himself, Bhuvan. Hello, welcome from Singapore. Now, I'm going to say, Bhuvan, Rohit, Bhuvan first. Where are you today in the world?
I'm in my house. I'm in Delhi, and yeah, I'm having fun.
And Rohit?
I'm again in my house as well. In Noida, in around Delhi. Okay. And can't wait to talk to you.
So this is where we get the show sponsored by my favorite restaurant in the world, as you well know, is Bukhara. And we will be traveling to Bukhara next to meet up. Try the dal makhni. Okay, that's the sponsor. Take you off. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us. We have a worldwide audience tuning in today. We're thrilled to have you here. There's clearly a lot of people watching the session right now because we've got these. I'm trying not to see these emojis going crazy. But Bhuvan, there may be people, artists and managers, what have you, tuning in from outside India who may not know who you are. Or may not know too much about you. So let's start at the beginning. You know, you're a singer, you're a songwriter, you're a content creator. You've got 21 million subs on YouTube and over 3.4 billion views. It's quite big. But where did it all start? What do you tell your friends you do for a living? Where did it all start? And how did you get your first big break?
I started back in 2015, but I have been doing this since a long time now. But 2015 was the actual time when I took it seriously, and I discovered YouTube and Facebook and other social media platforms then. So when I meet people, I tell them that I don't really like to call myself an influencer. So it's just I like to entertain people. I love to be able to give emotions to people, whether it be humor, it's happiness, it's sadness, it's any kind of humor. Because in today's world, we've all become so much addicted to our laptops and screens that we just know how to type. We don't know how to express ourselves. So I think these platforms, social media in general, gives me an opportunity to let people express themselves. It gives me an opportunity to express myself in whichever way I want. And I'm glad these emojis emojis are coming in, and I'm so happy.
It's certainly it is. Oh, so the emojis are for you, not for, oh.
They are for you. They are for you.
They're for you. That's it.
Now we're joined as well by Rohit. Now Rohit, you work. You're Bhuvan's partner and manager. But again, tell us a little bit more about what you do. What do you tell your friends you do? Or you just got the most love hearts to everyone. What do you do for a living, and how do you guys work together?
Yeah, I mean, when I started working back in 2012, I used to organize sound, light, and stage for colleges. So that's how I got into the whole music space, and I realized that okay, I can't sing, but I can of course give musicians and entertainers a stage to perform, and of course entertain the audiences that we all love interacting with, right? And in the course of the journey, of course, I met Bhuvan, the singer, the creator, who had just started about 8 months back and had become like a thing, like a sensation in the country. And he was nice enough to consider me to work for him. And then I think we just started, chatting together, traveling together, meeting people, and our wavelengths matched, right? And we realized that okay, this seems like a good fit. I could look after the business bit, Bhuvan could clearly look after the creative bit, and together as a team, we could go out and probably crack some things for us. So that's what I do. But I also try and help new and fresh musicians back in Delhi and help them get gigs, help them get brands, grow a little social following, do collaborations. So this is what I do in a nutshell. Try and be a crisis manager. This is what I tell my friends, that I'm a crisis manager. So this is what I like doing.
That's brilliant. So Bhuvan, he mentioned there, you are very well known for doing a lot of different things, but it all started. You're a musician, right? At heart,
Yeah,
you're a musician.
yeah. Yes.
So and you're saying from 2015, that's where you started taking it seriously. But you were performing in cafes and stuff before that, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know that I'll pursue music as a profession. It's just that I used to go to a friend's place for Indian classical training. It's called Hindustani classical music, and he used to like perform in a restaurant nearby. And they were two brothers, and they told me that one of a guy isn't present today, so would you like to substitute for him? So I was like, yeah, I would love to go. And I was just learning music, and I was just learning the technicalities of how to play a piano, how to play a guitar. I was just getting into it, and they took me there. And when I saw that place and what kind of music they play, then it hit me that yes, this is what I want to do. And that's how it all began. We were a trio, and we used to perform all the ghazals and all the old Hindi songs. And during that, I used to perform there every day. So the manager who was in that restaurant, he used to tell us that, look, kids, do whatever you want to do. I'm not stopping you, but make sure you're here by 8 p.m. every day. So that's how we were bound to that place. And gradually, while performing, I realized that I just don't want to sing the songs which have already been sung. I just want to write my own stuff. And that's how I began writing my songs. And eventually, thanks to Rohit, thanks to the other people, and thanks to these lovely kids, it's like a motivation that when you put out something and people start liking it, then it drives you more. It drives you to write more stuff. And yeah, still writing.
Fantastic. Well, someone has already asked a question. It's totally off script, totally off the context and content. How do you get ideas for writing your songs? The emotions you express through your lyrics have my heart. And that's come from Saloni. And then we'll get back on the content. So
writing anything, like writing a joke, writing music, it doesn't come like forced. So I never sit down thinking that I'll write today. I never sit down thinking that, okay, today I've got to make a song. It comes naturally to me, and it comes in the oddest of the place. Like while I'm talking to you guys right now, there's a melody which is going back in my head. So I'm trying to remember it also, and I'm trying to talk to you guys also. So that's how it works. It's crazy, but that's how I guess all the musicians work. So yeah, there are no particular inspiration for anything. It's just what your heart feels at that very moment, and then you just pen it down.
So when you write a song on the back of this interview today,
Yeah.
we'll get on to doing NFTs around it and all that kind of stuff, right? And we can chat about it. So Bhuvan, and that was a total diversion, but thank you, Saloni, for the lovely question. What we're talking about today is building how to build your fan base and how to get these wonderful lunatics sending you millions of emojis while we're going along. But so going through your life, you were performing in cafes, and now you have 21 million subscribers and over 3 billion views. How did you build that huge network of fans? How have you done it? And how can artists watching this today and fans learn from you to be able to do that? Because like we said at the beginning, just because you put a video up online doesn't mean people are going to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, if I speak for myself, what worked in my favor was the timing of it. When I started my YouTube channel, there weren't many YouTube channels there. And whoever was there, they were creating content in English. So a single guy coming out and creating videos in Hindi, it was a new thing for everyone. And I love doing characters. So I started with 2 characters, and now we have a catalog of 19 or 20 characters. So I guess being different usually works, because we are a population of 100 crore plus, and there are so many people who want to watch everything and anything, and there is so much variety. People love to consume everything in India. So for any artist who wants to begin with either music or anything or comedy, I think they need to find what they like. Doing what is already being done, it might not work in the longer run for you. So you need to work according to what you feel. And I've seen people who come up with new content. I've seen people who have their own ideas, who have their own traits, and they've their own unique style of creating stuff. And I think they've been successful as far as I know. So yeah.
By the way, everyone in internet land, the banging in the background is there's building works going on. I won't say whose house in Delhi it is behind next door, but there's nothing we can do about it. So unfortunately, this is the internet, ladies and gentlemen, and we're all working from home, so therefore we have to put up with a bit of banging and drilling every now and then. Rohit, I guess we're talking about kind of building fan bases and stuff like that, and you've got this wonderful star who but it wasn't just him, right? I mean, how does a manager and work with an artist to help build that fan base?
So I think I personally believe that definitely it's the artist's vision, right? I mean, because they are the ones who've made this audience for themselves. They are the ones who've created like a universe for themselves amongst these fans and viewers. We can always, as talent represent or talent managers or somebody who's trying to, put things together, we can always amplify whatever they are doing. We can always support whatever they are doing, and we can always back this up with all kinds of support. And I believe just being up to date with whatever's happening in the world, just being, a good sounding board to the talent, just being able to do things which are new, when you're working with a talent like Bhuvan, you can't do things which are already redundant. You can't do things which are already done in the past. So just being at it and being, super proactive about new and path-breaking things is something that will definitely help his content or whatever he's trying to create.
So Bhuvan, kind of same question for you, but in reverse. Like I said, we've got a lot of artists watching this and will be watching the recordings as well, what advice could you give young artists about working with managers? How do you see the relationship working?
I feel it's a two-way street. A manager, of course, he knows the business side better. You know your artistic side better. So you both have to come on the same page, and no one should be able to dominate someone else. I think if both the people are on the same page, then it's best things are bound to happen then. Best things are bound to happen then. You have to understand that it's always a two-way street. Be it with an agency or an artist, a manager or an artist, but it's always like that. An artist shouldn't be like a pain in the bum for the manager, and likewise. And that's how I think that's what's working the best between Rohit and I. And also it's so wonderful that a single piece of paper hasn't like bound us together. It's
nice.
The agreement. It never does. And it's the same with all the team members. We don't have any like a particular agreement together. We just know what's in the best interest for everyone, and that's how we all love to grow together.
What a lovely thing to think about. We once had I mentioned this earlier today, by the way, but we once had U2's manager join us at Music Matters many years ago, and one piece of advice he gave was that the artist should never work harder than the manager. Sorry, the manager should never. So other way around, the manager should never work harder than the artist. And you've just said the same thing, right? It's a partnership based on trust and stuff. So we've got some more questions coming. We had a question here. What's your advice, Bhuvan, for artists? Actually, start with Rohit here. What's your advice for artists wanting to find representation? How do they find a Rohit?
Mm-hmm. See, one thing is to find a Rohit, right? When Bhuvan and I met, I wasn't really a talent manager. I wasn't really representing talent. I just knew the nuances of this space of entertainment and of talent management. Just that I wasn't really a professional talent manager who had done it before. So whatever I've been doing and I'm still doing is still, in the learning space. But I'd suggest to any upcoming or budding or somebody who's just, hit the roof with their content piece that, you should find somebody who's first and foremost has the same taste and has the same liking of the content that you create. Second, I've seen agencies have different role plays. Like there would be somebody who's great at gaming, somebody who's great at brands, somebody who's great at digital content, somebody who's great at music. So you need to figure out what kind of, like, for example, we're talking about music here, right? You need to focus and go to a brand, to go to an agency or go to a representative who's dabbled with similar kind of talent or has some sort of an experience and has the range, who can probably take you to platforms, get you produce new music, get you collaborations. So going to somebody who's a professional at this and has some sort of experience would be the best. The other way to do this is to find somebody in your ecosystem, right, who believes in your content too much, who thinks that you are the next star, you are the Shah Rukh Khans or the Will Smiths or the Tom Cruises of the world, right? And who believes that you can be the next biggest star in the country. I think that again, that belief in itself will be enough. You don't need any education to represent. All you need is the right intent. One should know the math. Rest everything follows.
So Bhuvan, back to the idea of building communities and stuff. I mean, we mentioned YouTube a lot, but also, do you work with other platforms and do you create the same content for those platforms, or do you work with different platforms in different ways? How are you communicating with those fans?
I guess what I do on YouTube, I try to keep it away from Instagram. So Instagram is how I am as a person. Instagram is just Bhuvan. That's it. YouTube is that entire universe which I have created. And I think it works well in my favor. I don't like to mix the both, because we've been shooting for something, and we have shot like for 45 days for that project, and I've had to play 9-10 characters in it, and we were stuck in a loop. So when the shoot finished, the next day I woke up thinking about Titu Mama. I woke up thinking about the other character. So that's how it gets. It's like it's so much stressful for me after a while that I can't differentiate between myself and the fiction. So creating different things on different platform has worked for me. Instagram is different, Facebook is completely different for me, YouTube is different, and I'm not on Snapchat.
This session is sponsored by YouTube. And Bukhara. So Bhuvan, sorry, Rohit, you mentioned that you're working with a number of new artists to help them with their careers. So you know, and Bhuvan, I'm going to ask you the same question in a minute, but Rohit, what advice? And I think with the marketing standpoint, because otherwise this is a whole book worth of answers. But what if you're with an artist who's just started their career, you think they've got it, they think you got what they need. What advice are you going to give them, Rohit, about building their communities, about how to market themselves, their music, their image, whatever? Rohit, what advice would you give them?
I'd always like Bhuvan said, the first advice would be to treat every platform differently. Now that there are so many short video platforms, there is Instagram, of course, and there are different features on Instagram, then there is YouTube, and then different platforms again, right? Facebook and Twitter, etc. First advice that I give to anybody, even an individual, is to treat each and every platform very differently and to treat it as your mecca, right? So that this is the first place that you would be able to market your content at. Back when Bhuvan started doing music, even before 2015, the only platform that we could distribute music via was YouTube, right? And very few of us knew about it. The other ways of distributing music was CDs and cassette, which people had to pay for, or probably download music from websites which were, not really friendly for musicians, right? So now in today's day and age, a song from Sri Lanka has become a huge hit in our country, and it has about 120 million views in the last 20 days. And this girl has become a huge sensation, and she's touring in the country next month, right? This has all become a thing because of the features that we get on Instagram, right? The song became a hit on Reels, and people took it away. So what I'd suggest to everybody is, of course, have your basics in place, have a great photo shoot in place, have a great portfolio, a profile, have your music in place, do things which are more commercially friendly, right? I know there are a lot of people who do independent stuff, right? Even Bhuvan does a lot of independent music. But just to be in the talks of people, just to be in the minds of people, you need to keep doing things which are commercially viable, commercially, it'll excite people. So every once in a while, one should break their image and not be super particular about, okay, this is the kind of music and I create, and I won't do anything other than that. That really doesn't work, because then if you want to take that ride, it's going to be a long ride. If you want to play between doing the kind of things that you like and the kind of things that the audience like, I think marketing flows in. Of course, you need to do the right kind of PR. You need to do the right kind of meetings. You need to have some sort of soft touches as well. I personally suggest to every musician that more than a talent introducing you to any creator or any other, artist, it's best to have your own relationships with the other talent. There are so many immense possibilities of collaborating. And once you collaborate with somebody who already has an existing audience, there'll be some sort of a sprinkle of their audience which will happen towards you, right? So collaborating, creating your remixes on Reels, being available, in today's day and age, it's so dynamic that if you put out one video in 2 months, you might just not be seen after 45 days, right? Like the people might forget you. So one needs to be dynamic, one needs to have their content ready, and one can't wait for money to flow in to be seen, So these are the few things that I always tell fresh and growing talent.
So collaborate. When you talk about collaboration, you're talking about 1 + 1 equaling way more than 2. We say this a lot, right? But if you're an artist, you can really fast track your audience by working with someone else.
That's right.
Bhuvan, you do a lot of collaborations, right? How important are collaborations to Bhuvan?
They're really important, but I haven't got much opportunities to collab. But there's this property we have. It's called T2 Talks, and on T2 Talks, it's like a character of mine. He's interviewing celebrities because he has a fantasy of interviewing them. He wants to know what their life is, and that's how we got to interview a bunch of celebs. That's my idea of collaboration, to know one side of their life, to understand what it means like to be a Shah Rukh Khan, what it means like to be a Karan Johar, and likewise. So
Or Rohit,
after this,
Raj.
or Rohit Raj, or Jasper for that matter. Also, after this interview, we need to discuss about getting more people on board. Jasper, you gotta help us with more guests.
Very, very happy to help. And I think we once lined Lily Singh up with you, didn't we? But there was so back to the original question to Rohit, and that's about if you were to meet a young artist, I know that for you education is very, very important. So Bhuvan, what advice would you give artists who are starting out in their careers? Because it's not easy, right? What advice can you give them? I think in particular about marketing. That's what we're trying to concentrate on fan building and communities and stuff like that.
You need to have more interaction with them, because they know better. They know what they want to hear. They know what they want. So I think a transparency between your followers is a must. I've seen artists, especially in Bollywood. If I give you an example, I don't see them interacting much with their audience, which creates a divide. Which creates a divide that a fan would probably say, "I wish I could touch him. I wish I could speak to him once." I don't think that's the matter with. I don't think that's how it works with YouTubers or creators in general. We love interacting with the people. We love interacting. We know that the channel exists. We exist because of them. Our work exists because of them. So I think to understand that and to create a transparency between the two is a must. And that's it. All the artists who are thinking of starting, I think you must create that relationship with your audience. That's it.
Fantastic. So we've had a question. I'm not sure who it's from, and this is asked for you, Bhuvan, but I'm actually going to ask Rohit instead. As an artist, how important is it for an artist to own their work? Nowadays, artists working for big banners do not actually own their music or art. What's your take on that? So Rohit, what's the importance of ownership?
See, there is definitely now, I think in the last 2 years, ownership and IP ownership has become something which is very important, and it's become easier also because partners and associates have sort of understood, right? That one thing is to own the IP, the other thing is to distribute, license, and put it together and work as a team. But I believe from the intent, not from the paperwork, the artist should definitely own the content, right? At the end of the day, even eventually, like today, Bhuvan owns all of his IPs, right? Bhuvan owns all of his characters. Bhuvan owns all of the music that he has. So he has the creative control over making whatever he makes. Then he has the creative control of probably rehatching it or probably using it in any of his content pieces or whenever he feels like. Tomorrow, a Bhuvan can go and use the song in any of his films that he has created maybe 7 years back. Tomorrow, a Bhuvan can sell the song to any other film where he's doing the vocals, he's created the song, and some other actor is featuring on it. Tomorrow, he could go and sell the song to maybe a brand, right? And I believe if you own the property, it's like having your own baby, right? So you're working on it every day. So and in today's day and age, a music piece might become a hit today. It might go berserk a year later, right? So to own it and to be living with it, it's the most important thing. Once you give it away to somebody, it's like giving your baby to some other corporation who might treat it well, might not treat it well, might put the right marketing money, might not talk about it 2 days later. So the best way to go forward now is to own the IP, and people like Believe will come and help you, right, with their distribution services. Yeah.
Who are
So
also sponsors of the
yeah,
Music Masters Academy. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So listen, we've hit 30 minutes, but I've got some more questions, and I'm fairly sure there's some more love heart emojis to come in to keep us going. Are you guys okay to carry on for another 10 minutes?
Yeah, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. So there's some other questions. So we've talked about how to get it right. Rohit, what are the things that you see artists? What are the mistakes they make? What are the common rookie errors that artists make? Certainly when it comes to marketing and fan building.
I actually work with a few, and I've spoken to a few, and I've realized that a lot of times when an artist gets that viral video where they get about 200, 300 million views, right? It's all over the place. They end up sitting on it. They end up sitting on that one piece, and they feel, okay, I've landed, I've arrived, I'm a hit. I'll sell out shows, I'll sell out albums, and I'll be cracking crazy brand deals. But that's not how it happens in the world right now. If you made one viral track, you keep at it, and you need to be even better. Which is again, not in your hands, but you have to do your best. You have to keep doing it, and you never know. And the other way of looking at it is, I've seen a lot of talent. um losing hope after putting out maybe a dozen singles and not getting the right kind of response. But I've seen cases in India where people have put in years of efforts, and after maybe 5 years or 6 years down the line, one of their songs went really viral, and everything else started working for them. All the uploads that they had done in the past, they all got some sort of viewership, and whichever was nice, they actually stayed with the audience. So one is to never lose hope. The other is to not be super hopeful about one thing that you've done really well or has happened well for you. So this is my giveaway.
Okay, so I'm going to flip that question a little bit, Bhuvan. Not what are the common rookie errors? Is there a mistake you may have made in the past that if you had the chance to do it again, you'd do it differently? What have you got wrong? You're a human being after all, albeit with 3.4 billion views.
So we all love to keep expectations. We all think that we have done something and it'll do wonders for us, but it's not how it usually works. We've seen that, we are going through that right now, and we know that it's okay to be hopeful, but it's not right to keep expectations, because Rohit and we have learned that expectations hurt. They do hurt. So just do your thing, just move on, and let the universe create a path for you. That's it. Don't keep expectations.
Thank you.
And I'd like to add to Bhuvan, right? And something that uh, maybe a rookie, not a rookie, but a freshly new talent would probably make, right, is that you need to spend your finances right. You
Yeah.
can't just you can't just, okay, tell yourself, okay, I've made a blockbuster song, because whatever song you will create will be a blockbuster for you, right? If you've invested time, effort, and money on something, you would feel that, okay, this is the best song that I've created till date. But don't go and invest your entire fortune in the video. Don't go and spend everything that you have in that video, because maybe that video might not work and you'd be shattered, right? So spend evenly, even if it's the best song, even if you know it's going to be the most popular song of that year in the country. Still, please don't spend all the money that you have on that one video, because you need to run it as a business, and not it's not a wedding that will happen once in your lifetime, right? So please spend it as a business, and also allocate some budgets for marketing the music, because a lot of times I think musicians, independent creators who are funding their own content, they end up forgetting that the one thing is to create, the other thing is to actually put it out, right? And talk about it more after it's created or after it's released. This is something which, these kind of mistakes we've made, these kind of mistakes a lot of people make, and I think we can choose to not make these mistakes.
So marketing does matter, right?
100%.
We've had a lovely comment here. Now, please forgive me if I pronounced this name incorrectly. Yashashwi Mahobi has said the greatest thing is that Bhuvan Bayer trusts his audience, and that's important, Bhuvan. Right? It's important to build, like you mentioned earlier. You said it's interacting and understanding your fans.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, they know better. They know what they want. In my head, I love this piece, but I really need to understand, is it what they would like to watch? Is it what they would like to hear? So experimenting with your content is fine, as long as you don't go completely out of the way. So I think trusting your audience and the audience trusting you back is equally important. It's always a two-way street, either an artist with his audience, her audience, or an artist with the manager. It's always a two-way street, and it has to be like that.
Bhuvan, how do you deal with, I mean, even someone with such an incredible career as you, and has so much fun on your channels and stuff? Hate is quite a common thing on social media, right? You get the haters and what have you. Yeah. How do you? It's a question we ask a lot of creators and influencers and stars. But how do you deal with the hate?
See, I think hate is a really strong word. It's no one hates you; they just don't like what you do. So I think people often mistake hate with the disliking of a certain individual or his or her work. Also, the people who love you on the internet is much bigger than the people who don't like you. So I think investing all your time and energy on the people who love you will help you. Is better. It's of course better than concentrating on that bunch of 1% people who don't like your work. So I think life is too short to think about them, and life is too short to not think about the people who love you.
That's fantastic. Well. So I know I could carry on talking for ages and ages and ages. I think let's start to wrap this up. But what's exciting in your worlds right now? It doesn't have to be about you at all.
Yeah.
But Bhuvan, what's exciting for you?
The kind of work which I'm going to do in the next few months, it's really exciting. It's something which I haven't done in the past. We're developing it right now, and of course, people who are watching this, they know that Dindora is coming soon. It's probably on our priority list right now. We are really looking forward. The rest, Rohit will tell.
What's exciting, Rohit?
There's so many exciting things happening, Jasper, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. The only problem being that we are under so many, legal bindings that we can't really talk about so many things. Like, for example, Dindora, right? We've been sitting with it, and Bhuvan's been developing it for the past 4 years now. And every time we're back in action, Dindora is the only thing that we've been talking about, which is why we've not put out content in the last 6 months, because this has been our top priority. But hopefully soon, I have my fingers crossed, it's going to come out. It's going to be with the people, and there are some interesting stuff that we spoke about that we are doing, with different other platforms, which I can't name. It sort of rhymes with my knee, so we're doing something with other platforms as well. But it's going to be interesting. The digital space in India has blossomed like anything, and I think Bhuvan, being one of the pioneers, will probably be able to anchor it, at least for the creator community. So, and we just want to make the right moves, and we're just super worried and scared about things that we do. So yeah, fingers crossed again.
So listen, I think that's a really nice way to finish this with one more question. One more question.
Yeah.
And this is one of our favorites. But and thank you, by the way, to everyone who's been sending these amazing questions, emojis, and all these wonderful messages on YouTube. But Bhuvan, if you bumped into your 16-year-old self, you bumped into a teenage Bhuvan.
Yeah.
What advice would you give? Now, we've had some wonderful answers to this question. One of our speakers said, "Dump your boyfriend." I've always said, get into gaming and learn Chinese. But if you bumped into your teenage self, what advice would you give you?
What advice would I give? Sleep as much as you can. Right
That's a good one. That's a good one. Rohit.
Sleep as much as you can right now.
Rohit, final word.
Final word would, I don't know, man. I mean, if I would have been 16, I don't know if I would have been sane enough to tell myself enough. I just should have just, told myself, okay, education is definitely super important, but one needs to learn everything that's happening around as well. So I would have probably introduced myself to more music and more things happening in the industry early. Maybe that's something I could have gotten, but I never had the access to it. Today, people have the access to read about and be a part of such, academy and sessions to understand what exactly happens in the real world, right? But when I was 16, I never had that. So probably I would have told myself that to read more.
Read more and sleep.
Definitely.
Oh, we got another one.
No. So also, so before we wrap this up, I would like to take a minute and thank these people who've been writing so many messages here. So Jasper, if you would allow me that 1 minute.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much all of you for coming here. एक एक करके नाम लूंगा सबके, ठीक है? Thank you so much आने के लिए. यशस्वी, शिरीन, इशिता, प्रशांत, पृथा, आयुष, शंपा, एक और आयुष, श्रुति, सलोनी, और जितने भी फैन पेजेस हैं यहाँ पे, यशस्वी, इनासा, निकिता, काव्या, श्रेया, फटाफट जितने भी देख सकता हूँ मैं, that's it. और जितने भी हैं, जितने भी फैन पेजेस हैं, जितने भी बांग्लादेश से हैं, जितने भी इंडिया से फैन पेजेस हैं, सबको थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक्स फॉर कमिंग हियर एंड yeah, that's it.
You've just given us a 1 minute lesson in marketing. You've just summed the whole thing up in 1 minute. And that's not that the fans love you, it's that you have to love the fans as well.
Oh, yes.
And that is what makes, well, I was going to say what makes music matter, it's what makes marketing matter, what makes Bhuvan matter. I've got, chills, they're multiplying. So look, Bhuvan and Rohit, thank you so much. That was amazing. We're gonna bring that one back. But I've written some notes for anyone who just to summarize what we've talked about, and what a brilliant session. You talked about find what you like and feel, have a vision and a plan, be up to date. Your relationship with your manager is about partnerships, but you can do it on trust. But your relationship with fans, as we've just seen, is about understanding and interacting the whole time. We talked about, you mentioned believe in yourself, because it's going to take a while. It's not an overnight success. And even if you do get one overnight success, the next one may not work. You have to trust the platforms differently. But I love this quote that each one is your mecca. Collaborations are important when you do them. Keep going. And this is a common message that we get from a lot of artists and their managers. It's just keep on going. Don't stop. Keep going. Keep going. We talked about marketing matters. Lovely message of turning the hate into love. And there's been a whole lot of love going on down the right-hand side of this session for the last 45 minutes. Bhuvan, you also said don't be a pain in the bum. I'm going to change that to don't be a pain in the bum. Okay. And if you use that in one of your characters, I want the NFT on it, or some of it. But yeah, listen, I think this was absolutely superb. Brilliant session. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to the lovers on the on the right-hand side. I'm not going to say that naughty word, Preeta. But thank you, Bhuvan. Thank you, Rohit. You've been wonderful. Thank you so much for joining. And hopefully the next time we see you is in Bukhara eating dal makhani together. And we'll see. And good luck with everything. If you are to release anything, I'm not mentioning the name of it in the coming up. So thank you for that. Up next for the Music Matters Academy, later this afternoon, we have Facebook, Believe, and VS Media all here to talk about, again, how to build that community, how to market your music, how to market yourself. So please do join in later on this afternoon. I think it's at 4 o'clock, but it might be at 5 o'clock. Check the agenda, and we'll see you there. But again, thank you to Bhuvan, thank you to Rohit, thank you to our wonderful sponsors, to YouTube, to Believe, Dolby. And we will see you all soon. But thank you again. Love the beautiful, beautiful fans on the right-hand side. So much fun. Have a great afternoon.
Dolby Atmos is changing the way music is heard, blowing away stereo with music that moves, soundscapes that electrify, and artists making music like you've never heard before.